And good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network alongside Donald Ng. I'm Kevin Coleman, our director Eric Gendron as well as with us. Thank you all for joining. Don, how are we doing today?
Doing very well. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, it's been a while since the two of us have been able to chime in and have some fun together on the sports desk.
Yeah, you get right back into the swing of things. It feels like home. It's like a homecoming.
Well, we saw history yesterday here on the HAN Network in girls lacrosse. We had Darien and Norwalk here on the network. It was Darien who defeated Norwalk Bears at Testa Field, and that win gave Coach Lisa Lindley her 400th win. And we're going to jump right into it, Don. We have the two captains of the Darien Blue Wave, Emma Lesko and Laura Murphy. Girls, how are we doing this afternoon?
Good.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and let's just jump right into it. I mean, yesterday was such a great day for you guys. We got to speak with you before the game. You had a little surprise for Coach Lindley. You had a banner, you had some flowers, and of course you had an after party after that. Just talk us through what went into planning this big day for your coach.
Well, we kind of figured it out about a week ago that it was going to be her 400th win. So we got right on making cupcakes, cookies, the works, and getting balloons. And we actually designed a jacket for her with 400 on it, and her favorite color is white on gear. She always asks us every year to make the gear for our team to be white. So we got her a white jacket, and we had a celebration for her at the field. We got her flowers and stuff, and then after, when we got back on the bus, we also had a little thing with the parents, which was fun.
Now, just talk about, the 4 years you two have had with Coach Lindley. What's the experience been like being, as a coach? What's it been like playing for her these last 4 years?
Lisa created a great atmosphere for the whole team all 4 years that we've both been on varsity. She really brings a lot of intensity, but she also can tell she cares so much about each individual person. She can tell you about a person that played for her 12 years ago, or she can tell you about a person who played for her last year. It doesn't really matter to her because she really cares for each player, but she also brings an air of intensity that is so impressive, and we really are grateful to have that kind of attitude at our practices because that's what made us so successful.
Now, you guys against Norwalk got off to a quick start. Then Norwalk starts coming back. They score 4 straight goals. Coach Lindley calls timeout. What was that huddle like during the timeout? My guess is she was not thanking you for the cupcakes. What was being said during that timeout?
Well, she just kind of expected more from us. We've had kind of a busy week, and a lot of people are maybe distracted, but that's not a game where we can really be letting in goals at all. Norwalk's a good team, but we historically have been better than them and should have been beating them by more. So she just kind of reminded us that it can't really be a game that's in any way close, and we just had to get back out there and really win it.
Now, you bring up an interesting point, which is something that I noted when I was looking at your results so far this season. A lot of games are in that 15-4, 14-3 kind of scores. How do you keep yourselves motivated when you walk out onto the field expecting to beat a team, and then come the second half of the game you find yourself up by 10 goals? How do you keep your focus?
Yes, those are some of the hardest games to go out when you're not really motivated. It's not a big game, but I think that those are the biggest games where we really kind of have to show heart and show intensity because those are the games where we're working on our plays. We like those games because that's where we can kind of make risks and see what works, see what doesn't work. Because if a play that we're running isn't working against a team of lesser caliber, there's no way to expect that to work against another team. So we kind of use those as it's a really good way to practice, really good way to kind of get into the game sense without it mattering as much because we know that we can kind of pull together if we need to and kind of go back to our old ways, but we kind of like to test new things. And it's really hard to keep the intensity, but that's kind of what we're all about is being intense in everything, even if it's a blowout.
Now, something you mentioned is that Coach Lindley has done a terrific job of building that lacrosse culture, and she mentioned that to me yesterday as well. Talk about what it's been like. You guys have gone through the youth program, and now you're at the varsity level. What's it been like from starting from the youth program to now? What's it been like? And you mentioned to me yesterday how you looked up to Coach Lindley and those varsity players. What's it like now being seniors on that varsity team?
It's kind of surreal because you start at such a young age. Lisa has camps starting from I don't even know, elementary school, and now Grizzlies, her club program starts in really young grades. So you get to watch all these older girls, and you never even imagine that you'll be that girl one day. And then being able to, both of us, be on the team as freshmen and see seniors like Dylan Shane, Emily Stein, those girls that we looked up to so much, and now to know that we could possibly have the same effect on the younger girls is really rewarding, because we just know how much Lisa and the older girls kind of pushed us and taught us and guided us. So being able to do that now as the older generation is really, really rewarding.
Now, as captains of the team this year, who's really impressed you, especially with the freshmen and sophomores? You know, some of these girls have really stood out to you guys. Who really has stood out to you guys as underclassmen on this team?
Well, we're really impressed with the juniors this year. I know that they're not necessarily underclassmen, but they've really stepped up into a huge role, which we're really grateful for them. But in terms of sophomores, I'm really impressed with Katie Elders, who's doing such a good job on the midfield line. Sarah Jakes has been showing some impressive moves in attack. It's hard kind of being an underclassman on the team, but I've been really impressed with that. Maggie Brooks, she's amazing in the goal. Obviously, you have the Humphrey sisters, but I mean, they all are of equal talent, and it's really awesome to have such a strong base of them, and I'm really impressed with how they have accumulated to this team.
Now, last question from me here. You had mentioned before that you aim to be intense in everything you do, and from talking to you guys off the air, it's obvious that you're intense in the classroom also, and also you're going to be looking at each other across the field next year. Tell us about what your plans are for the next season in your lacrosse playing.
We're so excited. It's been great to every single day get to go against Emma. She's definitely the biggest challenge, as I'm an attacker and she's a defender. But it's so fun going against her. And we're really looking forward to next year being able to play against each other and just kind of get a flashback to home when we're in our different colleges. So we're really excited. Yeah, it'll be fun to see when Darien plays Penn, to see how that matchup will go, but we will still love each other. So yeah.
Now,
and they're being modest there. One of them, they're going to Penn and Dartmouth. Was the classroom work there? So congratulations.
Now, girls, you guys have a quick turnaround today. You know, a game last night, you guys won. Now you're going to play Ward, but it's senior night tonight. Talk about what the emotions are going to be like at home at Darien for your last home game during the regular season.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy that we're already here. I mean, we've worked so hard this season. It goes by so fast when you're kind of grinding through. But the juniors have made it a really sentimental day, and it's just a really big deal for us. We've always been looking up to the senior class, especially in the lacrosse program, to finally be the senior class and kind of be in charge to lead. It's such an honor, and it's coming at a nice time going into the the postseason, sorry. Kind of a time to remember that as a whole senior class, we kind of need to lead and when it comes to playoffs.
All right, girls, thank you guys so much for taking time to come on the show today. Best of luck in senior night tonight. Have fun, and I'm sure we'll see you guys in the playoffs as well, all right? Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you.
We're going to take a quick look now. We were able to catch up with Coach Lisa Lindley after the game. Let's hear what she had to say after the big 400th win. All right, we're down here with Coach Lisa Lindley. You get your 400th win. Let's just talk about how you're feeling right now emotion-wise.
Well, first of all, I'm totally surprised. Obviously, you don't pay attention to these things. Girls obviously knew, coaches obviously knew, but I'm humbled and, feel very blessed for being the coach of this team and creating culture and really dedicating my life to this program.
Is there a specific team, a specific moment that you've remembered out of these 400 wins?
Well, there's a lot of amazing, memories that I have. It's funny, I identify kids with the graduation years. If someone mentions a kid's name, I can remember what year they graduated. I don't know, it's really funny, but with that, I do remember certain things, but if you're going to ask me, certain games, I would say the 2002 FCAC Championship and State Tournament was special. Obviously, the last two FCACs were special just to the way we came back and won. Every state title is amazing. But I think, every team and every year, there's special moments throughout. So.
You talk about creating that culture, and something that I've noticed, which I think is so cool, is every game that we've covered for you guys, I get to see, the youth kids are out here with the lacrosse sticks, imitating what the varsity girls are doing. Is that something that you were trying to build here in Darien?
Well, definitely. The youth program has just gotten stronger and stronger on the girls' side each year, which is amazing because when they get to the high school, they're that much further along for me. The other thing I think you are seeing now is kids or girls, young ladies that I've coached in the beginning of my career are now coming back to town and settling here with their families, and they're coming out and getting involved and coming back and giving back to the team. And that's special for me because it's great to see them, makes me feel old, but it also, I think, gives the current players appreciation for, what came before them.
Now, did you see this coming at all today at all?
No, I didn't at all. I mean, it was funny. I didn't even know, when I made 375, the only reason I knew it is because I had a captain's parent that was on top of everything, and he's like, you're going to get your 375, right? I go, no. And so, I should have paid attention, but I don't. I care more about the FCAC championships and the team state championships than how many I win.
Coach, thank you very much for the time. Thank you very And again, a huge congratulations to Coach Lisa Lindley on her 400th win. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to us yesterday. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Steve Coulter on the show. He went to Tribeca Film Festival and got to see Mike and the Mad Dogs 30 for 30. We're going to catch up with him and hear all about it next on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through May 31st.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napolitana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com and like us on Facebook.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
La France de Chartrenet, c'est la France de tous les Français.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time.
I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office.
Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN network. Donald Eng, Kevin Coleman with you. And now we are lucky to be joined by Steve Coulter of the Richfield Press. Steve, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Now, you've had the great opportunity to go to the Tribeca Film Festival, and you got to see some great films that had some close proximity to where we are in Fairfield County. Of course, you got to see the 30 for 30 of Mike and the Mad Dog. And of course, Chris Mad Dog Russo is from New Canaan. Why don't you talk a little about the 30 for 30, because ESPN does a terrific job of those documentaries.
Yeah, they hit this one out of the park, too. It really, it has a little bit of everything. You're laughing, you're thinking, you're crying. There's a moment towards the end where they have the Mad Dog's dad calling Francesa on their last show, and Mike gets choked up, and that's the kind of stuff that definitely is, in the audience, you're getting choked up because you're seeing this guy, Mike Francesa, who's very rarely emotional, get choked up. So, you're laughing and you're thinking about this very famous relationship and how it's impacted sports broadcasting, not only in this area but nationally. And I think that was one of my favorite parts of it, is just to see how many spin-offs and impersonations there have been of Mike and the Mad Dog around the country, and they definitely played up that storyline in this documentary.
Well, you even mentioned, and you wrote a great article in the Richfield Press about what all the films you saw. You saw 10 movies, and you even got a chance to sit in on the Reservoir Dogs. I mean, just talk about the whole experience going there down to New York City to the Tribeca Film Festival as a whole. And you saw 10 films in 2 days.
Yeah. Well, this is my second year down there, and last year I kind of misbudgeted my time. I went and saw OJ Made in America, which was my favorite movie that I saw in 2016, but it was 8 hours, so that was basically all I did down there. And so this year I kind of went in with the goal of having a better use of my time, so I plotted out my 2 mornings pretty well, and then I just actually caught a lucky break that they invited me to this Reservoir Dogs thing, and they plot me down in the 4th row of the theater, and guess who sits behind me? No other than Steve Buscemi, which was probably one of the cooler moments I've ever had. And he's there, and Quentin Tarantino sits 4 or 5 rows back from us, and he's just sitting with the crowd. And it was just a really cool experience. Obviously, one of my favorite all-time films, and QT is definitely my top 3 favorite directors, and so it was just an awesome night to be there in the Beacon Theater with Quentin Tarantino, Buscemi, and then the rest of the cast, which included Harvey Keitel, Michael Madsen, who really stole the show that night, and Tim Roth.
That's got to be an unusual feeling. Like these people that you see on the big screen, or you kind of, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there, and they're asking you to pass them the popcorn down from the aisle. That had to be a lot of fun. But I did want to ask you a little bit about the Mike and the Mad Dog 30 for 30. How much did the film spend on like the personal relationships? Because you hear them, and in later years you could see them, but they were never really what you would call friends. Was that a topic that was brought up very much?
Yeah, I would say that was probably the majority of it. They spend the early part of it, getting, how they got the show on the air, but then a lot of it is their personal relationship in the 90s, when the show was booming, how their relationship boomed, and then, towards the end of the 90s, they were struggling with each other, and then they also played up some of the other struggles that they had. I think it was the Mad Dog was doing a solo show one day, and he took Francesa's name out of the promo, and so that upset Mike, and there was just a lot of small beefs that added up over time, and then in 2008, they finally split with the Mad Dog going over to Sirius Radio, and obviously Mike continuing on the show on The Fan, which will actually end this year. So they spent a lot of time on their personal relationship, and they also did a lot of character building, kind of who they were before the show, and they touched on a lot of things. Like, I wasn't aware Mike's brother had committed suicide and that his dad had left him at a young age, so they definitely did a lot of backstory as well as building up their friendship and their kind of rocky relationship as the years went on.
Well, you just kind of jumped my next question. I was going to ask you if there was anything that you saw surprised you the most. I mean, I myself am a longtime fan. I know a lot of other people listen to the show. So other than those two things you just mentioned, anything really surprise you about their relationship or about the show in general?
Yeah, I actually do have one. It goes and shows the power of this show because they have a segment about Mike Piazza, and I'm sure you remember this more than I do, but when Mike Piazza was traded to the Mets back in, I think it was 1999 or 2000, these guys were the ones that had put it out there on their radio show, the Mets should go trade for this guy. And I guess the Mets GM was listening, and so that it kind of snowballed so much to the point where the Mets management decided to make the trade for Mike Piazza. So that idea started on the Fan, and I mean, we all know how it turned out. The Mets ended up making the World Series because of that trade. So it's amazing that these guys had such an impact on not only the broadcasting community, but they really did have an impact on the sports world at large. I mean, to the fact where they're affecting GMs, Brian Cashman, Steve Phillips, Omar Minaya. These are, powerful figures in very, very wealthy and lucrative sports teams that are listening to these two guys from Long Island. And I think it goes and shows the impact that show had on the city, not only culturally, but also on its sports teams as a whole.
Steve, I still remember that day when Mad Dog left and didn't come in the studio, and he called in to Mike and the Mad Dog Show. I still remember that, listening with my dad, and that's a radio program I grew up listening to and loving. And did they talk about that day at all when Mad Dog didn't come in and he decided to call in Mike? I still remember him crying on the phone. Did they go into depth about that?
The most emotional moment.
Still there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, no. Can you just go in a little bit more depth about, did they talk about that at all? And it was an emotional day for all, not just Mike and the Mad Dog, but for the listeners as well.
Yeah, for the whole fan base. Yeah, the most emotional moment of the entire documentary is definitely their last day together, and that the call-in that you just mentioned. They show a scene with Chris calling in, and then Chris's dad, and by the end of that day, I mean, the camera's focusing on Mike's emotions, and you could just tell that it definitely wore him down a little bit. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure it wore Chris down too. I mean, this was something that was 20 years of their life that they put into, and to just see it dismantle like that all in one 24-hour window was definitely it took an emotional toll on the both of them. And the documentary definitely focused on that part of the story. And the documentary is only 55 minutes long, so credit to the director for budgeting his time wisely and getting in all these different little anecdotes between the Piazza thing and then what we were just talking about at the end of their show in 2008.
When can we expect to see this 30 for 30 come on live television?
The 30 for 30 will be coming on July 13th on ESPN. I think it also will air on ABC that night, too. I know the OJ documentary aired on ABC. I know it will be airing on ESPN on July 13th, and I'm pretty sure as well ABC will be broadcasting it too.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it a lot. Everyone should go check out Steve's article in the Richfield Press. He went into full depth of all the films he saw. It was a really great article. Steve, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, that's going to do it. Don and I are going to take a break. When we come back, Dave Stewart from the New Canaan Advertiser is going to check in with us, and we're going to discuss FCX baseball. All that coming up next on Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now at 3 locations: 131 Kings Highway North in Westport, the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning free-form pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Tuesday Pazza Pizza.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HN Network. Donald Eng, Kevin Coleman, and Don. We had a great interview with both Darien girls lacrosse captains. We just had Steve Coulter on from the Richfield Press. 2 great interviews.
Yeah, and let's see. The third time here might be a charm.
Yeah, good job queuing that one up. We got Dave Stewart on the line here. We're going to talk about a wild and crazy finish to what is the baseball season here. And Dave, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking time to come on.
Hey, no problem. It's a fun time of year, you know?
I mean, let's just jump right into it. I mean, come on. There's all these, I mean, on Wednesday, these standings are not going to be the same. We have so many great matchups still to be played. I mean, New Canaan and Richfield on Monday. There's a lot still to be played. I mean, what's going to happen here in these next 10 days or so?
Well, it's just always baseball always seems to be the craziest finishes of all. I think the sport just plays into that because you can have a team that's basically, well, right now, just for example, we had this past week St. Joe's beating Ridgefield, which Ridgefield had been soaring at the top of the league, and St. Joe's is under 500, fighting for a state tournament spot, and St. Joe's knocks them off. But you see stuff like that more often in baseball, I think, than in just about any other sport, and I think that's what makes the playoff race and the standings down the stretch so interesting because things can change quickly.
Well, now we have the graphic up of the standings right now. West Hill now takes that number 1 spot after beating Richfield. How impressed are you with the West Hill Vikings this year?
Well, West Hill's kind of been flying under the radar. Everybody was talking about New Canaan early in the year because they were playing so well and they were undefeated. And then Ridgefield was up at the top, and I think those two teams are stealing some of the thunder. People always talk about Staples baseball, too. And, you know, they've got Ben Kasparius, and he's been great. Norwalk, people were talking about. I didn't feel like West Hill was mentioned that often, but I mean, here they are, 11-2 in the league, and you know, they're the only team that's officially clinched right now. I believe New Canaan has clinched based on tiebreakers, but there's so many scenarios to go through. I can't say for certain. But with West Hill, it's going to be hard to knock them out of a first-round playoff home game. So I'm very impressed with the way they played, and they're kind of the one team that's been steady throughout the season. They haven't had great big fluctuations like some of the other teams, or like a team like Ridgefield is going through right now with their 4 straight losses.
Now, Dave, one of the things that I was looking at these standings here, you have the Battle of Fairfield coming up this weekend. Ludlow versus Ward, both schools 6 and 7. They're tied for 10th place. It's going to be a real long shot for either one of them to jump Danbury into that number and Trumbull into that number 8 spot. Can you talk us through the scenarios here as these two schools prepare to square off against each other? One of them will probably knock the other out of the playoffs.
Well, the loser is going to definitely be out. That's for sure, and the winner could be out the same day. So they could, in that game, they could both knock each other out, or not knock each other out, but both be out at the end of the day. I think the game itself, I mean, it's big in and of itself because it's the two Fairfield schools going at it. But outside of that, it's a huge game for Ward. Ward is playing their 6-11, and they're still fighting for a state tournament berth, to guarantee a state tournament berth, that 8-win threshold. And so they would need to win 2 of their last 3 to get in at that 8 wins. So that's a huge game for them in that respect too. Ludlow, of course, is already into the states, definitely, and they've kind of had an up and down here. Played well at times and looked a little shoddy at other times, but that game is big no matter what the standings are and where those teams sit, because neither one of them wants to lose to the other one.
Now, as always, these a lot of these schools are gearing up for the FCAC playoffs and also for the CIAC playoffs, especially in Class LL with that real shark tank of competition there with Amity and the Southingtons of the world. Who do you see being best equipped to make a long run through the FCAC playoffs and then also potentially in those Class LL playoffs?
That's a tough call right now because with the new pitching rules, of course, the pitch counts and everything, teams have to be more aware of where people sit. We've seen in the FCAC tournaments before where you throw your ace in the quarterfinals, your number 2 guy in the semis, and then bring your ace back for the finals, and you may throw complete games with your ace in both of those 2 games. You're probably not going to see that as much now because if you have a guy going in your quarterfinal game and you're trying to win that and you throw him too many pitches, he may not be available for your finals, and that's going to be even more pronounced when you get to the states. So teams that have more than one, great starter, really good starter. I know New Canaan has, they really haven't had that one top ace this year. They had Robbie Jones at the beginning of the year, was supposed to be their ace coming in, but he didn't. He started the year injured, so he's really not up to speed yet. They've had 2 other guys, Mike Pelly and Zach Lopez, who have looked great at times and other times not so great. But they've been pretty steady. So that's a team that could be well equipped to go through a state tournament and through playoff times, because the pitch counts, while they matter for them, they have somebody behind the number 1 guy, to get them through.
All right, Dave, you should get used to this by this point. Pick one team right now who's going to win it all.
Well, for the FCAC, I'm going to go. I've been following New Canaan all year. I'm going to go with New Canaan. I'm going to be a homer on this one because I like the way their pitching sets up. I like that they've been able to get Robbie Jones back in, almost like picking up making a mid-season trade in the major leagues. Picking a guy up like that. I think I'm going to go with be the hometown hero here and pick New Canaan on baseball.
All right, Dave.
Although I will give the one caveat to that is that Staples has Ben Kasparius in a tournament setting, having the best player in the league, and I think he's lived up to that billing this year. can go a long, long way towards winning a championship. We see that time and time again. So that's a team to watch out for, too.
So there's the pick. New Canaan will win unless they don't.
Yeah, right.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to seeing if your pick is right when it comes to the end of the year.
Hey, no problem. There's going to be some fun games over the next week, and these standings that you're looking at now are going to be very different by the end of the season, I'm sure.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. We're looking forward to some fun baseball action when we get all the way to Harbor Yard. That's going to do it for Nutmeg Sports today alongside Donald Eng. I'm Kevin Coleman. Thank you. Be sure to tune in on Saturday. We have boys lacrosse at Trumbull. It's Ludlow Falcons and the Trumbull Eagles squaring off in boys lacrosse.